Hello, today I want to go over a full disassembly, cleaning, lubricating, and then reassembling a Beretta A-400 Excel. I've been shooting this gun competitively for quite a long time, and the way I do everything may not be exactly what you've seen before, but it absolutely works. And never really have any issues with the gun cycling. So let's get started. First of all, the gun is empty, no shells, completely empty. Disassembling the gun, fairly easy. Remove your 4-end cap. Your 4-end should just slide right off. Your barrel comes out. Here on your bolt head, push it down to the very last line. I don't know if you can see that, but when you push it down to the bolt head down to that last line, your cocking bolt handle will come out. Then your whole bolt assembly will come out. On your bolt assembly itself, I use you can use anything. I use a paper clip. Right here, you can see there's a little hole. Depress your firing pin. This will come out. Firing pin will slide out. Then your breech bolt pin come out, then your bolt will come out. Now that's disassembled. Take your trigger out. There's one pin that you have to knock out. Usually very easy to come out. Knock that pin out. No, you probably know, but it comes from right here. Then your trigger just comes out. Now your receiver, everything is completely disassembled. Let me set up a couple of things here and then get right back. We'll get started at cleaning. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is we'll clean the receiver. Everything's completely disassembled. I use Hoppy's 9. Get a little bit on your cleaning patch. Clean your magazine tube real well on the outside, right here. And you can see here, this gun's not too bad. I try to clean it quite often. The more often you clean it, the easier it is to clean. But I do like to clean this up real good. Put some Hoppies on that. Then down in the receiver itself, the main thing that I'd want to really try to clean out is the side rails that your bolt assembly slides in. And then also clean your bolt closure lever on the inside. But to do that a lot, I'll use a little Q-tip, a little Hoppies on that. Go down the slides here on the inside, the rails, both sides. You can see it is dirty. And just take a rag, wipe all that out in there. Really feel like the only thing that really gets dirty in here is that I care about too much other than aesthetics is just this rail. I want that to be nice and smooth. Wait for this compressor to turn off. I'll come right back. Okay, so one thing I like to clean up, you can see here the carbon build up right here down in this groove and stuff. Try to clean that up a little bit. What works for me, first of all, on the magazine tube itself, I just use some 4/0 steel wool and just want this to be nice and smooth. Let's clean that up a little bit. And then I use these Dremel tools. This is a little stainless wheel. They have them in brass as well. I find that the stainless works better. So I'm gonna clean this up right here and be right back. Okay. So now you can see most of the carbon is gone. Gets a little stain on it, but it's pretty clean. So for now I'm done with the receiver. One thing that you can do, and I've seen it actually affect cycling, put your little magazine spring inside of here, and then you've got your follower down in here. If that follower, I mean, if you use the gun in the field a lot, the follower gets gunked up, gets dirt, grime, stuff built up, and it doesn't work freely in there, it can have an effect on the way the gun cycles. Very simple to take this off. There is a push pin right here. You push that down, turn this, the spring will come out, the follower will come out. Clean that up, clean the tube out inside, put it all back together, and that's just one less thing that can cause you an issue. I like to wipe out my fore-end. Just gets a lot of powder built up in there. Just like to clean that out a little bit. One thing I don't do every time, show you how to do it. You know, this is a little different. This is a weighted fore-end cap, but even the standard fore-end cap that comes from Beretta is kind of the same principle. It's usually, it'll come apart. It's basically 4 pieces: the cap, the spring, little internal deal here, and it will get dirty. So every once in a while I'll clean it up a little bit, just down on the inside of it. Put just a little bit of oil on this spring. And put it back together. Put the spring on. This will go back in. Screw it back together. Like I said, I don't do that very often. Do it every once in a while. All right, now we'll go on to cleaning the trigger. I keep my triggers pretty clean, but one thing you can do if your trigger is really dirty and you haven't cleaned it really well in a long time and you feel like you have an issue with it, you can get some mineral spirits, a toothbrush, just clean the heck out of it with mineral spirits, get it wet in there, blow it out with a compressor, and that will definitely clean it up good. Normally what I'll do is just little hoppies. I'll clean my carrier lever. That gets dirty. just kind of clean everything. Take your Q-tip, go down, clean all in that. Just anywhere that you can, anywhere you can get to. Always try to wipe that hoppies back off. That should be good. Fairly clean. Done with that. We can clean the components here of your bolt mechanism, bolt assembly. First of all, your bolt head. I'll usually just take a little bit of hoppies, squeeze it down. You got a spring back here behind your extractor. I'll just take some hoppies, squirt it down in that spring, work it around a little bit, then just clean this off good. You always get a little ring around there. I'll knock that off. One other thing, I only saw it one time with a buddy of mine's gun, and this actual firing pin hole, his actually got carboned up and was creating a problem. So I'll just usually run something through there, blow that hoppies out of your extractor spring, wipe that down. You can use a Q-tip and go down in these holes. Just wipe all these little pieces off, your bolt cocking handle, your firing pin spring, or firing pin retaining pin. It's got a little tiny little O-ring on there. Kind of keep an eye on. This is your, I think they call it a breech pin, but it will get some wear on it. Every once in a while I'll change this pin out. You can see it's got a little bit of wear on the sides right there. I'm not going to change it this time. Your trigger pin, and then your firing pin. Your firing pin also has a tiny little O-ring on it. Easy to lose, just be careful with that. And if you do, that's a pretty good thing to have. I just ordered some. You can get those off of Amazon for very cheap, pennies. But if you buy them from a gun manufacturer, they can charge you up to $9 a piece for that little bitty O-ring, which is ridiculous. I'll show you another thing I don't do every time. Normally what I'll do in between, I'll just take a brush and kind of hit this spring on the inside and out, blow it out good. But every once in a while I'll take it apart, just show you how to do it. So this will just slide. So slide this up, keep your finger on the spring, pop this out. Then your spring will just come out. All right. What I like to do here, because this spring will get dirty. This is your recoil spring. This is actually very functional in the way the gun operates. I shoot a lot, and I change mine at least twice a year, maybe more. But I just put a little hoppies on a cloth, get it in here, and I'll start by going to the short end, running it all the way out, and then I'll run it all the way down the spring. Let me do that and I'll come back. Okay, I've run my hoppies through this, and I always run a dry pad behind it. Just put it back in there, twist it around, twist it all the way down till it comes out. And now this is clean. I'll show you one thing. Let me see if I got one. So when we talk about why I changed these, this is your recoil spring. When you look at this compared to a new one, you see that? So this spring is shorter. It's not bad. I mean, it's like an inch and a half. I have seen them get, 3 inches shorter. I mean, they'll be significantly shorter. But what I'll normally do every time when I take it out, and clean it before I put it back in, I will just kind of stretch it out. That'll get it back kind of the way it was. Then you can clean your little spring housing up here. Just get all the powder and carbon, whatever, out of there. And then your bolt assembly housing, whatever, it's probably not the right terminology. Clean this up good. I'll usually run it down on the inside. If you don't have any, next time you're at a Chinese restaurant, get you some chopsticks. Good for a lot of things. Put that down in there, clean the inside of that out. Use your Q-tip, go in the back side where the firing pin goes, and then there's a little slot right here where your cocking handle goes. I clean that out good. And then wipe it down. These guns aren't designed to work wet. They're pretty dry, take very little lubrication, and I just don't like oil or hoppies or anything where it shouldn't be. These little lollipop deals are pretty good too, real soft. You can use those like getting down on the inside of here. Clean all that up good. Now that's clean. Put the spring back in. You can struggle with this, but be patient, and it's not really that hard. So take your spring and only go in one end, and it'll lock on the other end. So once you get that, just kind of keep your hands on the top here so it doesn't pop out, and just start working it down. And when you get it to about there, then you can take that, put it in, boom. Now one thing, even when you don't take your spring out, but you just clean it, a lot of times you start putting your gun back together and this will not go all the way down into your receiver. And the reason why, down on the inside here, that spring has to seat just right. And you can feel it if there's a little something sticking out, just kind of work it around till it's smooth in there. Now this is all clean. Go to the barrel. Probably the hardest thing to clean on this gun. It's not hard, but what takes the most time is your piston and your piston housing. That's where you get the most carbon buildup. And this is where, if I'm at a 4-day shoot, I'll usually take it out and at least wipe my piston down, wipe some things down at the end of the day, every day. If you let this build up, it really gets hard to clean over, the more it builds up on there. If it does build up, and you can make this almost look new, I use this stuff. It's basically a suppressor cleaner. It's called Breakthrough. I don't use this. This is soak a suppressor in, but I take I think this is a half pint, and I fill it up with that. I'll drop my piston down in there, and then I'll just take my barrel and set it on there so that it's not touching the barrel. It's only coming up to here, but it's soaking all this inside. And if you let that soak overnight, take it out, you can dang near just wipe this thing shiny clean. I mean, you might have to hit it a little bit with a Dremel tool or a brass brush, but I promise you it will clean it up. You don't want to get it on your wood, on anything nylon or anything like that, because it will discolor it. Other thing that I'm not going to do today, it's very easy to do. Down inside here, where is my flashlight? Down inside here, I don't even know if you can see, but you see those little holes? There's 5 gas ports in there. Those release I guess it's the extra gas out of the gun. I don't always take this apart and clean it. This is 3 pieces right here. You can get at Kohl's. You can get this little socket that'll fit down in there. Take this off. Once you take it off, don't worry, there's absolutely no tension on it whatsoever. This will thread out. This piece will come out. Your spring will come out, and then this little thing right here will come out. Clean all that up real good. Then your gas, those 5 ports are all open. You can just use like a drill bit and just go in there with your hand and clean those out real good. Put it all back together, tighten it down. There is, if you see those 2 little spots right there, and right there, I can see that. They're there and across from it. I use a little punch and tap it down. It's just kind of an ear that keeps this from backing out. But when I don't do that, I will clean that out with I'll show you in a minute. I'll clean that out with my drill bit. So what I like to do here, I have this little brass rod. If I'm not going to soak it, where it builds up the most, I use this brass rod like a standard screwdriver on one end and a point on the other end. And right along this edge right here, there, your split ring, kind of up here on the top, I'll just scrape it a little bit. Then you just don't, once you scrape this off, there's quite a bit of carbon that will come off. The more you can scrape off, the easier it is to get it clean. So you can see there, most of that I scraped off of that. I'll do the same thing on this split ring. I'll just kind of run it down the middle of it where it builds up. This is supposed to be like a self-cleaning ring. And then I'll clean down along the edges in here. Just kind of scrape that just a little bit. And I mean, I probably worry about getting mine cleaner than you absolutely have to, but like if I'm cleaning it, I might as well go ahead and clean it. But I'll scrape that. And then what I'll do is I'll get the rest of it off. I don't put any hoppies on this. A lot of this you can rub off. Kind of see it rub quite a bit of it off. Top doesn't rub off very good. But I'll take this now and I'll clean it up with my Dremel tool and be right back. Okay. So now you can see, it doesn't take long. If you're with the Dremel tool, see how clean everything is. Split ring's clean, top's clean. One other thing that I will do have a little brass brush on here, some caliber out of a gun cleaning kit, and I'll take it and just run it through here, back and forth a couple of times. And that will get everything clean out of the inside. So now your piston's clean. I will say one thing here, and I'll show you a little bit more later. This split ring is critical on how your gun operates. It has to be, can't be bent up, can't be off center, it has to line up properly. I don't ever take it off unless I'm changing it for some reason. But if you ever do replace it, just as important, see how it has the little teeth on one side? I think of that as a crown, and the crown always goes up. So the teeth have to be pointing up. If that ring is flipped over, your gun will not cycle. All right, so that's clean. Now we'll clean the inside here. One thing about these A400s, if you notice, even just with a couple hundred rounds through it, you can feel down in there, it creates a ridge of carbon. I would say probably a quarter of the way up. I use my brass rod first, and I go in there and scrape that ridge off. You can feel it, and I mean there'll be a lot of carbon. And then after I get that ridge scraped off, I'll just scrape all on the bottom. Don't really get a buildup on the sides other than where that ridge is. You will get a buildup in the bottom. So I'll scrape that out good. Let's see. I mean, you can see it. Maybe if I can hold it. You will knock some carbon out of it. You can see I knocked a lot of the black carbon off of it. Again, I will take this and I'll use my Dremel tool, and I'll go in there down the sides and on the bottom, and I'll clean that up. Do that real quick, and I'll be back. Okay. So besides the little flat wheel, a lot of times I'll use this little cone brush also. It's easier sometimes down to get straight down on the bottom. But now you can see it's pretty shiny down in there. Now these 5 portholes, like I said, I have 2 different size. I don't remember what size they are. They're probably worn out. But I'll use this little drill bit with my fingers, and I'll go down into those ports, turn them back and forth, and you'll see it lift. It's lifting. It'll lift carbon out of it. I just turn it around till it's kind of turns nice and freely in all 5 of those holes. And then the little smaller, the A400, there's two portholes through the housing that would go down to the barrel on the A400. Only one of them's drilled out through the barrel. The one on the right, as you're looking down in it, I just use that drill bit and kind of make sure that's clean. And now this is all clean. You can take a little nylon brush if you want and kind of clean that spring up. No oil goes in your piston or piston housing. Then down on your barrel sleeve right here, you've got your ejector. This ejector does have to be, it's 3 pieces. It's an ejector head, it's got a rod in there, and then it's got a spring in there. There's a little pin right here, roll pin, that you have to drive out to get that. But that should be fairly hard to move with your fingernail. Gets loose. Sometimes you'll get some misfeeds because the extractor will pull the shell back, but this is not tight enough. This hits against this ejector and flips the shell sideways and causes it to eject. So I have had to change a few of those in my gun and other people's guns. But I'll just take little hoppies, kind of put it down in there, put it down here where your barrel actually in the locking head, and then just clean it up. Comes off really easy. Kind of work that back and forth on your ejector. You can hear it popping. Clean this up good. You will have to use a Q-tip or something to kind of get down where that bolt head locks into there. I just want it to be nice and shiny and clean. Use my lollipop, get down in there. And you can blow that hoppies out of here. That's good to go. Don't have to clean your barrel out. Sometimes I've got a big rod and I use a bore brush and I'll run it down through there. But most of the time what I do, I have this. Put a little hoppies on these rags here. It's pretty tight. That cleans it pretty dang good, I think. It's a shotgun, it's not a rifle. Run that through there a couple of times. I'm good with that. Barrel's pretty clean. So now pretty much everything is clean on this gun. We'll lube it up, put it back together. Again, this gun is not made to run wet. I mean, I know the old 391s or 300s and stuff, you could put a lot of oil on them, and you can use any kind of oil you want. I vary from time to time. I got gun butter, I've got Beretta oil, I've got, you know, Slip 2000, all kinds of stuff. Beretta oil, if you have Beretta oil, it's as good as any. Put it back together. Got your bolt head. Put that down in there. Obviously it sits like this, so your extractor is going to be on the right side. Put your breech pin bolt. There's a little line on the top of it. Your firing pin actually runs through this, so the hole has to face front to back. Put that in. Firing pin slips in the back. Push that down. Put your little firing pin, and that's together. Now, the way I oil this, very little. I take and I put like 1 drop here and 1 drop here on these side rails. And then you can see where any sliding friction takes place. I just take those 2 drops of oil, just rub them around, create just a nice little small film. Don't want too much. Nice little small film. Good with that. Take 1 drop, put it down on my extractor spring. No more, no than 1 drop. This is ready to go. On my trigger, I'll usually put 1 drop. This is your carrier lever. I put 1 drop there. A lot of sliding goes on there, or half a drop, kind of rub most of it off. Put a little on top of your hammer where it seats down in here, and I'll usually put 1 drop where your hammer seats, locks down in here, and then I'll just kind of lightly blow that around. Kind of spread it out in there. That's it. That's ready to go. On your barrel, 1 drop on your ejector. That's it. It's all that you put on your barrel. Now, on your receiver, you know, I used to put a little thin oil on here, and man, the only thing I noticed it did was it just built up. It got real black, it built up, so I don't do that anymore, and I don't have any problems with it. So I just make sure this is nice and clean. I'll normally take a Q-tip, and I'll put some, just kind of get the tip wet with oil, and then I'll rub it down in those rails. Just a nice thin, just so it's not dry. If you can see it shine, that's enough. That's it. So then you put your trigger back together, press your bolt closer tab, press it in, back your trigger in, it'll go in. Didn't mean to shoot. Put it in, forward. I always go from the back side. As I'm looking at the gun like this, I go from the back side. Seems like my pin goes in better. Should just slide right in. That's in. Next thing you want to put in is your bolt mechanism. This is where I said sometimes it'll get hung up, but it just put it right there. It'll slide in, and see, it is hanging up. So the reason it's hanging up, like I said, go down in here, find out where it's sticking out right there. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 tries. There, it slips right in. So that's the hang up. Happens all the time. Don't worry about it. Just mess with your spring. Push your bolt head back down to that very first line. I've also seen where somebody doesn't get their bolt cocking handle all the way in. They'll have it where it's, you know, like to there, and it's still loose, and your gun will not shoot. So it should be just like that. Then you're ready to put your barrel on. Very critical. This is how you mess up your split ring. Seen it several times. You cannot put your piston on here and then put your barrel on, because what happens is that piston's sitting down here. Then the first time you shoot the gun, it tries to push that piston up in there, and it catches on that split ring, and it will bend the split ring, deform it, do something. Like I said, if that split ring's messed up, your gun will not shoot. So very critical. Put your piston all the way in. Line it up. Your barrel ought to go all the way down. Take your forearm, put it on the right way. Forearm nut. Tell you one thing I didn't do that I want to do, and I forgot. I like to just get a good coat of oil on my barrel, hold my hand over my piston so I don't get oil on it. Yep. That puts you. That's pretty much it, guys. I always do take a fairly clean rag here, put a little oil on it. Just don't need it. My receiver is Cerakoted, so it's not going to rust, but gets, you know, just looks better when it has oil on it. Just kind of wipe everything down. And guys, that is it. A-400, probably the best semi-automatic shotgun on the market as far as I'm concerned, is for shooting sporting clays. Very reliable, very easy to clean. The more you clean them, the easier it is. You guys have a good day. Thanks for watching. I just wanted to come back and add just a little footnote to the video. Feel like I may have given the impression that you need to clean these guns all the time. You really don't. In fact, my daughter shot this gun competitively for years, and I would ask her, you know, hey, when's the last time you cleaned your gun? And I'd get the same answer that I usually gave my dentist when they asked me how often I floss my teeth. It'd be kind of like, well, the last time you did it. So I'd break her gun down, open it up, and just, it would be so dirty, guys. I couldn't, you'd look at it, you wouldn't even think the gun would function, would cycle, but it did. I mean, and these guns are very reliable. They're very resilient. They'll operate dirty. I like to clean mine, like to keep fresh oil in them, like to keep them clean. So I just wanted to come back and tell you all that. Don't feel like you need to clean this gun all the time, but I think the cleaner you keep it, the better it operates, the longer it lasts. All right, guys, thanks a lot.